Good day, Nigeria. We have some major developments coming out of the Federal High Court today concerning the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. And this is something that has captured the attention of millions across the country and beyond. The courtroom was packed with supporters, legal observers, and journalists, all waiting to see what the justice would decide regarding the application for Kanu's transfer to Abuja, and the atmosphere was absolutely electric. Now, for those who may not be fully aware of where things stand, Nnamdi Kanu is currently serving a life imprisonment sentence after being convicted on charges related to his activities as the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra. But his legal team has not given up the fight and continues to explore various legal avenues to challenge both the conviction and the conditions of his detention. Today's court session centered on an application by Kanu's legal team seeking his transfer from his current detention facility at Sokoto to a correctional facility in Abuja, where they argue he would have better access to legal representation and medical care. His lead counsel presented arguments before the court, emphasizing that despite the conviction, Kanu still has rights as a prisoner and that those rights include access to proper health care and the ability to adequately prepare for his appeal against the life sentence. The defense team has been vocal about their concerns regarding the conditions under which Kanu is being held and their difficulty in having regular consultations with him to prepare the appeal documents and strategy. His counsel told the court that the transfer to Abuja would facilitate better coordination between the legal team and their client, especially as they work on the appeal that could potentially overturn the life imprisonment sentence. He argued that the current arrangement makes it extremely challenging to build a strong appellate case, and that this effectively undermines Kanu's constitutional right to appeal his conviction. The lawyer also raised concerns about Kanu's health, stating that the facilities in Abuja would be better equipped to handle any medical issues that might arise, and that proximity to more lawyers and legal resources would strengthen their chances of success in the appellate court. The prosecution naturally opposed this application, maintaining that Kanu is a convicted prisoner serving a life sentence and that the current detention arrangement is both lawful and appropriate for someone in his situation. The prosecuting counsel reminded the court that Kanu was convicted after due process and that he should serve his sentence under the conditions determined by the relevant authorities, not based on his own preferences or the demands of his legal team. The exchange between both sides was intense, with the justice carefully listening to all the arguments and asking detailed questions about the practical implications of such a transfer. The justice wanted to understand exactly what difficulties the defense team was facing in accessing their client and whether those difficulties genuinely impeded their ability to prepare an effective appeal. The judge also inquired about the medical facilities available at both locations and whether there was any documented evidence of inadequate medical care at the current detention facility. These questions showed that the matter was being taken seriously and wanted to make an informed decision based on facts rather than emotions. Now, if you are getting valuable information from this update and want to stay informed about all the developments in this case and other important Nigerian news, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your subscription really helps us continue bringing you quality content. The life imprisonment sentence handed down to Kanu came after a lengthy trial during which the prosecution presented evidence they claimed showed he engaged in activities that threatened national security and incited violence through his broadcasts and social media statements. The court found him guilty and imposed the maximum sentence, a decision that his legal team immediately vowed to appeal. They have consistently maintained that the trial was flawed, that evidence was improperly admitted, and that the entire process was compromised by the illegal manner in which Kanu was brought back to Nigeria from Kenya. These arguments now form the basis of the appeal that is currently pending before a higher court. The appeal process in the Nigerian judicial system can be lengthy, often taking months or even years before a final determination is made. Kanu's lawyers are arguing several points in their appeal, including the legality of his arrest and extraordinary rendition from Kenya, which they claim violated both Nigerian and international law. They contend that any evidence obtained or proceedings conducted following an illegal arrest should be declared null and void. Additionally, they are challenging the admissibility of certain evidence presented during the trial and arguing that the prosecution did not prove its case beyond reasonable doubt as required by law. If the appellate court agrees with any of these arguments, it could potentially overturn the conviction and life sentence, or at minimum order a retrial under proper conditions. The broader implications of this case extend far beyond one individual. Kanu's conviction and life imprisonment have become symbolic of the larger struggle over self-determination, regional autonomy, and the right to dissent in Nigeria. His supporters see him as a freedom fighter who dared to speak truth to power and is now paying the price for his boldness. They argue that the harsh sentence is intended to discourage others from questioning the Nigerian state or advocating for alternative political arrangements. On the other hand, the federal government and its supporters view Kanu as someone who crossed the line from legitimate activism into dangerous incitement, and they believe the life sentence sends an important message that there are consequences for actions that threaten national unity and security. As Nigeria continues to grapple with various security challenges, ethnic tensions, and calls for restructuring from different quarters, the Kanu case remains a flashpoint that highlights these deeper issues. Some political analysts believe that regardless of what happens in the courts, there needs to be a broader national conversation about the grievances that fuel separatist sentiments. They argue that simply imprisoning leaders of such movements does not address the underlying problems of marginalization, inequitable resource distribution, and lack of true federalism that many southeastern Nigerians complain about. Others counter that the rule of law must be upheld and that anyone who breaks the law must face justice, regardless of their political motivations or the popularity of their cause. The coming weeks and months will be crucial as we await both the ruling on the transfer application and the outcome of the appeal against the life sentence. For Kanu's millions of supporters, hope remains that the appellate court will see things differently and potentially overturn the conviction. They continue to mobilize, hold peaceful protests, and use social media to keep attention focused on what they consider an injustice. For the Nigerian government, the position remains firm that Kanu was convicted through due process and must serve his sentence while his appeal is considered through the proper legal channels. What are your thoughts on this ongoing legal battle? Do you think Kanu should be transferred to Abuja to better facilitate his appeal process, or do you believe the current arrangement is adequate? Share your perspectives in the comment section below and let us have a respectful discussion about this important national issue. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for continuous updates on this story and other breaking news from around Nigeria.